friends, and welcome back to Ghouls Night In, the spooky chat show with your best ghoul friends. I'm Penny Snark.
And I'm Midge Monster. And today I have something really odd, and
Mm.
uh, I'm really excited to share about it. It's
Odd
not
and exciting are two of my favorite things.
two of your favorite words. I will say, so this is not necessarily spooky. It's a bit of a deviation from form
Hmm.
for us, but it is certainly a curiosity. And it comes to us from our favorite era, our favorite little weirdos, the Victorians.
Mm.
So today we're going to be talking about the life and work of Andrew Clemens. Does that name mean anything to you yet, Penny?
It does not.
Okay, I'm excited. I can't wait to share. But before we jump in, I do want to say a special thank you to my unofficial topic curator, my friend Anne, who famously brought us frog coffins.
Ah, a classic.
She sent me some information about Andrew Clemens the other day and said it needed to be a Ghouls Night topic, and she was 100% correct. So thank you, Anne.
Thank you,
Uh,
Anne.
she gave me some starter info, and then I also read articles from the Smithsonian American Museum of Art and watched a couple videos from the Iowa Department of Cultural Affairs. So we are going to dive in. Penny, what do you think of when I say sand bottle?
Sand bottle. I think of like the 90s sand
Yep,
art where you get a little bottle and you put a bunch of colored sand in it.
exactly. Yep, I also picture those. Or you get it on your family vacation to Florida. You get
Yes.
the little brightly colored, layered sand in like a fun little like squiggly bottles and
Yeah, and you,
stuff.
you
Or
really, really want to shake it, but you
you
know that would
really
ruin
want to
it.
shake it. You really want to
You
shake
really
it.
want to shake it.
So yeah, that's the only context I had for sand bottles. But did you know that there is some real artistry here in this world? So Andrew Clemens, who is he? Why are we talking about this? He was born in Dubuque, Iowa in 1857, which is basically local to me. If you're in the Midwest,
Yeah,
anything under 5 hours is local. Uh,
it counts.
counts. Um, and when he was still very young, he experienced what his family called brain fever, which now we can probably deduce was either encephalitis or meningitis,
Hmm.
some kind of brain inflammation illness that caused him to lose his hearing. And because he lost his hearing at such a young age, he also became mute.
Hmm.
So at age 13, he went to the Iowa State School for the Deaf in Council Bluffs. And there he showed really early artistic promise at school. He started making things in wood shop and just kind of having a gift for doing things with his hands. But it was his summer break from school in the early 1870s that he found kind of his true talent came a calling.
Hmm.
So, like I said, he was born in Dubuque, but his family had moved to McGregor, Iowa, which is near the Mississippi River Valley. And there, he and his brothers spent a lot of time in the Pikes Peak State Park area,
Sure.
which is also called Pictured Rocks due to large areas of like sandstone with mineral deposits and iron that give the stone really beautiful color variations. So Clemens and his brothers would take out pieces of the sandstone, take it home, and let it dry out, and then crush them into fine powder or sand. And then our special boy, Andrew, would sort them into colors by each like little grain. And using that as his palette, he began experimenting with sand art. If I could say it without my lady going off, I would say, Robot Lady, play Enter Sandman.
There you go.
So Clemens begins doing these sand art bottles. He obtains glass, either kind of like lidded bottles or medicinal bottles from pharmacies, and he arranges sand inside of them, one grain at a time, to
What?
create to create images. And then when he's finished, he would seal the jar with a wax, with like a stopper that had
Mm-hmm.
wax. Um, he did not use any sort of glue or adhesive or dye inside the piece. As we mentioned, all the sand is colored by the mineral deposits of the rocks, which have an amazing variation of color, by the
I
way.
gotta look these up.
Well, hold on. I surely do
Okay,
have
I'll
one
wait.
that I was gonna send you one
Okay, okay.
mid cast.
Sounds good. I will wait then.
Yeah, I want to yeah, catch your reaction live on air because I wasn't ready. um and yeah, so no, very beautiful variation of color, natural sand, no glue, not sticking the pieces together in any
Mm-hmm.
way. The pressure of the sand itself holds the image in place.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm like, this takes a special kind of person, because the way I would be, my ADHD, lack of spatial awareness, I would bump my table
Oh my god, for
every
real.
like 15-20 minutes and have to start all over again. Okay, incoming, Penny,
Okay.
on your phone. Waiting, waiting.
Okay.
What a fun thing for me to try live on air.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, take a gander at that, would you?
What? What? Jesus Christ.
Penny, it's sand!
It's sand.
Penny, it's sand!
It's sand. At first I was like, oh, is the sand behind the label on this bottle?
image?
But it's all sand.
Is it behind the photographed
Is
image?
it behind this painting?
And what
Oh
if I
my
told
God.
you? What if I told you that was kind of a simple one?
Oh no. What?
So that's a great transition into my next statement. Everything I read was like, he started with simple patterns. I was like, girl, okay.
Where?
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 Where is the simple? So if you look kind of down, I've sent Penny an image of a bottle that we're going to talk about a little bit later, in depth. But at the bottom of this bottle, there's kind of a harlequin pattern of diamonds of different colors stacked on top of each other. And of course, we will be sharing photos of these over on the Ghouls Night In Pod Instagram. So go follow us there if you are not already. But you can also just look these up and gawk and awe with us. So, but that harlequin pattern was kind of his original MO. He would do these kind of ivory cream backgrounds and fiddle with geometric shapes and patterns and things. And then, much like others of his era, he started getting crazy, as Victorians often do. So he then made his own set of tools to work on this. He made
sand tools.
His special Sandman tools. He took like fishing hooks and elongated them using floral wire and like sticks of hickory wood, and created a set of tools where he could manipulate individual grains of sand. Once he had kind of packed the sand down, he could go in and scoot them around. You know.
Like you do.
Like,
you know, like when you're scooting around individual grains of sand.
Which, I mean, like, I do imagine that being deaf and mute, maybe you have an amazing like amount of focus available to you. Not a lot of distraction when you're not taking in that information, maybe. But wow, I mean, what an amazing... he's insane. So he, because of these tools, he can get very, very precise in a way that he is credited as being the like inventor of sand art for obvious reasons, I think. And there has really not been anyone like him since that has been able to do it like this.
I know. I mean, we've gone, you know, a lot of the times you expect there to be like, you know, exciting improvements in an art over time. The
Yeah, and like
90s
where
sand art, huge downgrade. Huge downgrade from this.
the fall off of sand art needs to be studied.
Right?
Um,
People aren't even manipulating single grains of sand
with a
anymore.
fish hook anymore. Um, so yeah, the video I watched from the Iowa Historical Society said that some of his work was completed in as little as half a day.
What?
Right. Now, of course, some of his most famous work took almost a year to complete.
Hmm.
But as he gets more intricate in his craft of, being able to manipulate things very minutely, he gets very popular, as
Sure.
one might imagine, because this is amazing. And so he starts doing more imagery rather than just patterns. Specifically, a lot of repeat things you'll see in his work is like American flags with a bald eagle,
Sure.
which is also fun because the American flag in a lot of them only has like 36
Oh,
stars, or
yeah.
like, it's kind of a sign of where the times were. He's also got a lot of like sailboats and ships, which are, just the most intricate things possible to draw,
Yeah.
let alone do in sand. Floral arrangements, and he does even do portraits eventually as well. And as his work grows in popularity, he starts making a living selling it. And people would commission him to make special pieces to commemorate weddings or births or anniversaries or any kind of special occasion. And it's believed that in his short time doing this, he did pass at a very early age of 37. But it's believed that he made hundreds of these sand art bottles,
Wow.
which unfortunately few of have been found
Sure.
intact. Now, partly that is, of course, because glass is, especially old glass, is extremely fragile. And, stoppers come unsealed, sand gets riled around. Uh, but also, another reason that we don't have as many is because Clemens would often work in front of a live audience at places like dime museums or circus shows
Hmm.
to demonstrate his craft in real time. And at the end of a lot of these demonstrations, he would smash
Oh.
the work to prove to any skeptics
Oh,
that
that's
he
not
had not
glued or anything?
not glued and that it was like made from individual pieces of sand.
I mean, that's pretty badass.
Right.
Honestly. I'm sad they don't exist, but that is pretty rad.
Oh, and I'm like, it may seem insane to create such an intense work of art with the intent to just destroy it. But through that process, it's kind of the brilliance of like Lady Gaga wearing a meat dress, right?
Yeah,
Like he did what he had to do to gain credibility and notoriety, and he certainly does. And that eventually gets him to the place where he is able to make a living solely off commission work, which is pretty freaking cool,
for sure.
for somebody who would have been considered disabled during that
Hmm.
time. And a lot of people, I think, in that time frame with his situation would have been like, oh well, he'll just live with the family the rest of his life and blah blah blah. Like, he is an independent wealthy artist doing it for himself. Like, he is slaying the house down.
Hell yeah.
um, so he's also just kind of an icon in that regard as well. um, so he creates a menu for his work where he gives people prices and timelines associated with each kind of piece of imagery. If you want a ship, you want a portrait, you want
Hmm.
dates, you want names, what's that going to cost and how long is it going to take me? Um, and another thing that I find really fascinating and amazing about this too, just talking about, timeline and like intricacy, a lot of these bottles that he's working with, like the one I showed you, Penny, is obviously like it's got like a glass lid more or
Hmm.
less. Um, but a lot of them of his are in kind of like a match cloche. So the stopper would have been in the bottom.
Oh,
So he is
feeling it
for
upside down.
upwards of a year working on these upside down, and he wouldn't even fully see what it looked like until he sealed the stopper and flipped it right side up, which is
Bananas.
crazy. Bananas. Um, One of the most amazing like details in these to me is the writing.
Yeah.
Um, Many of them, like I said, because they're commissioned for like gifts to people, have names and dates on them. And some of the writing is incredibly small. um, I'll show you another one here in a minute, Penny. But uh, just like really really fine writing that is fully legible. You can really see that on display in a particular piece that was shown on Antiques Roadshow.
Ooh.
So if you're having a feeling, listeners, like, huh, this is sounding vaguely familiar to me, or like, I kind of remember maybe seeing something like
Yeah.
this, that might be why. It is one of the like more popular things that was shown on Antiques Roadshow. A man brought in a piece that was made for his great grandfather, and it's really cool. It says from two friends, and it has like a mortar and pestle because his great grandfather was like a medic in the
Mm.
army. But it has his great grandfather's signature in the
Oh,
sand, and it's like
what?
single black line signature writing in like a cream background in the sand. It's crazy. It's just phenomenal. So one of his most elaborate pieces was made for his mother, and this one is kind of the one that gets like shown a lot, I
Hmm.
guess. And it is a portrait of George Washington.
Sure.
You know how you gift your mom a portrait of George Washington,
Truly.
um, on a horse, which also again just like ships and horses, I'm like some of the hardest possible
Right.
things to draw with a normal pencil. um and of course they're 360 because it's a glass jar. So one side has George Washington on a horse, and as you turn it around there is the seal of the state of Iowa, and it has like really tiny writing in a banner that has the Iowa state like motto
Mm.
that you can completely read. And it has a group of like indigenous people with teepees, and the craziest part to me, there is a steamboat. Like it looks like a black and white photograph of a steamboat, and it's maybe half the size of the jar, so it's no bigger than the palm of your hand. Incredibly detailed, just wild. And
Oh,
then he has
whoa. Yeah,
all these like different patterns and shapes framing out all these images, but they truly look like paintings.
they
They
do.
It looks like a really really skilled painter did that and then put it in the jar. It's crazy.
Yeah, like I feel like especially like with these ones when you look at it, you're like, "Oh yeah, like the pattern sand, but
And then he
surely
put an image
this
in
is an
there.
image. There's like a little printout in there, but it's not a
Right.
printout. It's
It
also
is
sand."
because you also couldn't print things out.
Nope, printing did not exist. That's
So
crazy.
yeah, just bonkers. Um, so that piece, the George Washington piece, and others are on display at the State Historical Museum of Iowa in Des Moines. They have 7 of his bottles, which is really a pretty miraculous number in the
Yeah,
scheme of things.
that's impressive.
Des Moines is like 3 hours. I have got to go see these bad boys
Yeah.
in person. It's a need. I want to see them so bad. Wait till like if y'all haven't looked it up by now, wait till you see these pictures. You're gonna
Yeah,
flip out.
they're crazy.
There's also one in Claremont, Iowa, at the Montauk Historic Site. It's in the governor's house there. Um, and even though Clemens got to the point, he had commissions that came from as far as Europe by the time he was really like working.
Mm-hmm.
But he lived and died in Iowa. He spent his whole life there. So it feels really cool and special that so much of his work is home there.
Yeah.
Now, in just recent years, another bottle was found and donated, and Penny, that first bottle I sent you is the one we're going to talk about now. um, so this is called the Mary High bottle,
Mm-hmm.
and for obvious reasons, it has the name Mary High at the top.
Indeed, it does.
Um, and this was found, well, I guess not found. The two brothers were, what's the word I'm looking for? Shoot. When you get it, inherited.
Inherited. When you get it.
When you, when you get it.
When you get a sand bottle.
But the two pair of brothers inherited
Mm-hmm.
this bottle after the passing of their mother in 2020, and it was a family heirloom of hers that she had hoped that after her passing it would be like seen by people. That was her wish for it. And so the brothers donated it to the Smithsonian American Art Museum, and it is now showing there. And this one I think is just really cool and extra special because it stayed with the family that it was made for
Yeah.
up until its donation. So after some research, the brothers Ken, and Mike Brasher concluded that the bottle was likely made for their mother's grandmother sometime around her 22nd birthday. So, like I mentioned, the bottle has her name up top and the year 1883 written in the sand at the bottom. And it's kind of framing this gorgeous floral arrangement
Mm-hmm.
on, like, in a vase on a pedestal column, and then surrounded by all this beautiful geometric filigree. Um, and it's just amazing, especially with this one too. The top of it, like I said, is more of a lidded glass jar. So the fact that something this delicate and almost 150 years old has made it
Yeah.
to this point and is able to be shared with people is really, really fantastic. So that is the life and work of Andrew Clemens. I think that this is just one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's so cool.
Like I said, obviously this does not particularly fall into a spooky category, but it does have this kind of cabinet of curiosities,
Yeah.
eccentricities feel.
I say it's
And
unique and eccentric, so I
yes,
think it fits. It's in the realm of things that our ghouls are interested in.
yes, I hope you all found this interesting. I think this is a really fun little tidbit to pull out at parties and show people
Yeah.
because no one's going to believe you that
No,
that's made of
everyone's gonna look
sand.
at it and they're gonna be like, "That can't be sand," and you'll be like,
And
"Well, if I could smash it in front of you like the artist intended, I would, but it's
then
in the
you would
Smithsonian,
see.
so I can't."
Yeah, and like not only is it made of sand, it was made of sand in
Yeah.
1886.
Like,
That's
I feel like this is like so that I apologize to Mr. Clements because this is going to be the worst
simile
comparison,
for.
but I'm going to say this is like the cool version of like getting your name on a grain of rice.
No, I
Like
literally had that exact thought.
good, because I was thinking when you were like, "Oh yeah, like for wedding stuff," I'm like, "Oh, like it's kind of like that, except for this is like actually cool."
Right, right. And it's interesting, the couple of families like the Mary High bottle and then the gentleman who had his great grandfathers at the roadshow.
Hmm.
Like a lot of them, they don't think anything. Like they're like, oh yeah, it's just like a weird little kitschy thing my family
Yeah,
has had forever, and we don't like. I don't think it's fully hitting people what it is until
yeah,
they like learn about him. Um, it's really just amazing. So
yeah.
thank you again to my friend Anne for constantly bringing me weird, wonderful
Woo.
information. She's also the person, I don't remember if I told you this, Penny, that she hadn't listened to the episode yet, but I was talking to her about the Kentucky meat shower.
Oh yeah.
and she like was like, "Oh, the vulture vomit."
There we go. Anne knows what's up.
Yeah, she had that one in the right in the barrel, ready to go.
She knows about carnal rain.
She knows all about carnal rain. Well, thank you all so much for listening. If you enjoy weird little topics about strange things in history, we're your gals. So be sure to stick around. And if you are really enjoying this podcast, we would love if you would leave us a rating or a review wherever you listen. And you can leave those on Apple. You also can leave comments on Spotify now, which I believe is what Penny has to share with us.
I do. I have a comment on our Telling the Bees episode from
Bees.
the Wee 106, who says, listening to this episode while finishing up some work, and the biggest, fuzziest bumblebee is buzzing right outside my office window. How kismet. Keep up the great work, my favorite ghoul friends. Bee emoji heart.
Oh, I love that.
That bee came to tell you something.
Yeah, I hope you gave them a little headphone and let them listen to the episode.
Yeah, they were like, hey, the ghouls are talking about you.
That bee said, do you like jazz? And you said, no, but I love podcasts. And you handed him a little headphone, and now he's a fan. And we have a new review from B23. No.
Who says,
well, thank you for your review. If you would like to follow along with the podcast, we have a couple ways you can do that. The first of which is our Discord, our Disco server.
Disco server.
Our Discord server, which you can find that information for that on our Instagram. And that has been so fun. Lots of fun channels there to talk about spooky history and cemeteries and what you're working on and what you're wearing and all kinds of fun spooky conversations to be had. Or, of course, you can follow us over on Instagram at Ghouls Night in Pod. Get thee over there and look at these freaking bottles of sand.
Look at the sand.
Look at them! And if you'd like to look at me, you can find me on Instagram at Midge Munster.
And you can find me at Penny Snark.
And until next time,
goodbye.